You have an offer on your property, but it has a conditional on another property selling. Should you take that offer? Hey, it's Ryan Hodge, broker owner, and Sandra and I have been selling real estate in London, Ontario for nearly 20 years. We own the Realty firm. We have over 100 agents in Southwestern Ontario, one of the leading independent brands in the entire province. And right now, in what is more of a buyer's market, according to all of the statistics and everything that we continue to see in the marketplace, we know that it is much more popular to see an offer that is conditional upon another property selling. However, I want to give fair warning and a little bit of education and knowledge on, before you accept that condition, how you should have the information that is going to allow you to make an informed, educated decision in order to move forward. So when you have a property up for sale and you get an offer, oftentimes you will see a conditional upon sale condition. And that condition basically says that in order for somebody to secure your property, they need to be able to sell their property by a certain period of time. Usually it's 30, 45, 60 days, something like that. Everything's negotiable. The challenge is that there are many agents that don't really handle this condition properly. They maybe get the excitement of receiving an offer, and usually those offers are going to be pretty much on asking price, maybe even above if it's competing. It's going to match up to terms, but the big unknown is whether or not that property is going to sell. Case in point, I've got a property that's up for sale right now, and we accepted a conditional offer, and the backup property that is in question had not been selling. So when you start reviewing this type of condition, you want to do some deep market research, which is exactly what I've done, and now that property is actually conditionally sold. What I mean by that is when an offer comes in, your agent should be really doing deep market research on the backup property. I don't mean just looking up what the property is and maybe what they paid for it. What I mean is they should actually be trying to go out and view it, so that they can evaluate the home themselves, get an idea of what the seller is going to list that property for, and how long the seller is going to take to sell the home. Because if the property is just going to hold up your listing, it's not that your property is not still available for sale with the proper what's called escape clause. I did another video about that. But the way that our system reports, if agents aren't including properties that are conditionally sold as well, they may not see it, which means buyers may not see it, and I would say the activity is less. So you want your agent to go out and visit that property. You then want to compile deep market data with your agent to say, okay, this buyer of my property is indicating, for example, that they're going to sell their home for $599,000. Is that going to sell in, let's say, a 30-day time period based on everything that's going on in the market and the data to back that decision up? See, most agents just wing it, and Sandra and myself don't believe in that. Case in point, we just had, as I said, a property that was conditionally sold, but it wasn't for about 30 days. And through the conditional time period, we had to look at the possibility that we were going to let that offer go, or we were going to accept an extension on our offer, but on different terms. And the terms were that the buyer of our listing would agree to reduce their price based on the deep market research that I gave them, based on going out and previewing the home and indicating, to my clients that really it's up to them, but the only real justified way to extend their offer was to ensure that the backup property was listed at an appropriate price and that the property would sell in an appropriate amount of time to make things work. Thankfully, the sellers of the initial property appreciated my information. They appreciated the fact that I am experienced and I have deep market research that is second to none, that I could take that information, which was in essence nearly irrefutable, and indicate this is the reason that we are going to accept the extension, but it needs to be mutually beneficial. And if you really want my client's property, then you're going to have to open up the market in terms of price. If that buyer had said no, we would have not extended the condition. And the reason for that is that we want to move on. We want to make things more attractive. We don't want the house held up whatsoever. Even though it's readily available for sale still, we want to make sure that we're dealing with serious people. And the agent on his end did a pretty good job in his own right to ensure that he now has a conditional offer in play. So these are some of the considerations when you get into looking at a backup property. Just because you get an offer on yours, if it has that condition in it, there's a lot more work and a lot more part of the process that needs to happen before you have an officially sold home. So get your agent to do that deep market research. Get your agent to go look at the property, compile the data, have a really good, clear understanding of how long it should take for that home to sell at that price, and make sure that that other buyer is going to get their home on the market in a very short period of time. We write all of this into our conditions when somebody submits an offer on our listings, conditional upon the sale of another property. We dictate, we're okay to accept this, but it needs to be set at a certain price. If it's not selling, that property needs to be reduced to a certain price by a certain date, and the overall sale process needs to happen in a certain time, along with the listing being listed by a certain date on the open market so that everybody can continue and hopefully have tremendous success, which is a win-win for everyone. So I know that that's a little bit of a complex case study, but in this market and with the fact that we're seeing so many conditional upon sale offers, I thought that I would drop that valuable tip information, a little bit of a case study for you. And if you have any questions or you want clarity on what to do if you receive an offer conditional upon sale, hypothetically, because I'm sure you have an agent that can explain this as well, I am happy to serve and support you anytime. My mission, Sandra's mission, is to help homeowners before, during, and after a sale in London, Ontario. We've been doing this for nearly 20 years. We're negotiating a lot of conditional upon sale offers right now inside of this market in 2026, and we'd be happy to help you in any way that we can. If you have questions, reach out, www.ryanandsandra.ca. Phone us at 519-601-1160. And if you enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll continue to drop tips, strategies, tactics, all the things about London, Ontario real estate to help you with your own dreams and desires. Have a great day.